Good morning, and thank you for joining us for today's session. Today, we're going to be talking about all of what's new in Inventor 2020 and how these improvements will dramatically increase your productivity and workflows. My name is James Dumont, and I am a technical specialist at MicroCAD. So let's get into the what's new in the 2020. Autodesk has delivered a fantastic update with the 2020 release. The main areas of focus is on general product enhancement. These include updates and enhancements to the user interface, Inventor read-only mode, the performance and productivity enhancement, multi-monitor, migration, template, and translation enhancements. There's also updates to drawings, parts, and assemblies. A new user interface theme is part of the enhancements for 2020 called Light Theme. The Light Theme updates touch all aspects of the user interface, including color schemes, icons, display colors, background, manipulators, and ground planes. Also, there are new graphic presets designed as alternatives for the time that's spent adjusting all the display parameters using the application options. The three graphic presets are high quality, balanced, and performance. The high quality, it places an emphasis on providing pleasing visual results utilizing a new IBL, image-based lighting style called Light Theme IBL. It gives you realistic visual styles and shadows. It's best used for high visual quality in product demos or final quality ray trace renders. Balanced, it places the emphasis on both visual display and performance. Balance is the default setting for built-in part templates utilizing the new IBL lighting style, Light Theme IBL, shaded with edges, visual style, and ambient shadows. It's ideal for working with parts and small to modest size assemblies. Performance, it places an emphasis on performance over visual display. Performance is the default setting for built-in assembly templates utilizing the new lighting style Light Theme. Shaded visual styles, no shadows, and is best for working with medium to very large assemblies. So various parts of the Inventor user interface underwent a refresh to update the display. The new lighting styles, Light Theme, and Light Theme IBL are the default settings. The icon refresh, so Inventor ribbon and browser icons are all updated and refreshed, and they complement this new Light Theme interface. Starting with Inventor 2019, we saw Autodesk deliver the first property panel with the hold command. With Inventor 2020, you'll see more commands make use of the panels, and more commands will be updated with updates throughout the year. We'll see more about the property panels later in this presentation. Inventor read-only mode, it allows you to access Inventor part, assembly, drawing, and presentation files for viewing in the Inventor user interface without consuming a license. Inventor read-only mode is included as part of the Inventor installation. Anyone who does not have Inventor installed can use this mode by downloading the Inventor trial from Autodesk.com. Trial access to full Inventor capabilities, it is time-bound, and when the trial expires, Inventor will default to read-only mode, which does not expire. An important note is that although Inventor View no longer installs with Inventor, Inventor View continues to install with Autodesk Vault. And it can also be downloaded as a standalone application from Autodesk.com if necessary. There are many advantages now to using the new Inventor read-only mode over Inventor View. For starters, it works with Vault. So here's a matrix that highlights the differences between the programs. So just to mention a few, the key differences is the ability to open large assemblies with Express mode, as well as presentation files. So Autodesk is constantly improving Inventor's performance when working with large assemblies and very complicated geometries, and Inventor 2020 is no exception. Autodesk has made improvements to every aspect of Inventor, from part files to assemblies. Here is just a few areas where you can expect great improvements. Window selections, pan and zoom, component patterns, visibility toggles, object visibility, express mode, incredibly, and large performances, large assemblies, open and close performance is greatly improved. So Autodesk has supported multiple monitors in the past. For example, you could place the model in the Vault browser on a second monitor, but the ability to move a document window to another screen, it wasn't possible until Inventor 2020. This has been a wish list item for a very long time, and to solve the problem in the past, many users would launch another session of Inventor and place it on a second monitor. When installing a new version of Inventor, you can migrate certain settings from a previous release. You can select which group of settings to migrate. New groups of command settings can be migrated between releases. Another area that Autodesk is always maintaining is translations for import and export. So this image, it shows the enhancements for supported formats for input. For import. For example, you can see SOLIDWORKS now supports 2001 through 2019. Here you can see the enhancements for the export format. Let's watch a brief demonstration highlighting the general enhancement updates. This video will demonstrate the new enhancements in Inventor 2020. We're going to focus on the general enhancements to the overall program. The first thing we're looking at is the new interface. It's using the new light theme, and this is a little bit brighter, and all of the ribbons and icons have been slightly modified to update and reflect that new light theme. You can see that Inventor is a little bit brighter. But when looking at a file, it's not a drastic change in the user interface, but we can see that it has been updated. And virtually every icon and palette has been adjusted to accommodate it. The main thing we want to talk about in the general enhancements is the graphic presets. When you're working with a large assembly, you want to be as productive as you can be. We're always getting into the application options, tweaking and trying to get the settings just right to give us the best performance. The graphic presets will save us a lot of time and energy. So we have the high quality and balance and performance. Currently it's set to performance, and it's going to give me the best configuration of Inventor to work with large assemblies. Balance is kind of a combination between the performance and high quality. Graphics are a little bit more updated. We're still able to work in the assembly productively, and it looks a little bit better and more pleasing to the eye. When we're ready for a presentation or a demonstration, we want to get really high quality. We can switch it to high quality, and that will give us some ground planes and shadowing, a little bit more dynamic graphics within the part of the assembly. So the graphic presets are a fantastic enhancement to 2020. So the next thing I want to talk about is multi-monitor support. We've had that for a while. We've had the palettes. We've had the ability to take the palettes, and we can actually move them to a different monitor, and that's fine. The main request for the users over here has been the ability to work with multiple documents. Like say this particular drawing, I need the assembly as a reference. So I'm going to take this drawing and put it on another monitor. So the 2020 release, we can now do this. So it switches over to horizontal mode, and I'm going to take the drawing here and simply just drag it to another monitor. So I can now work as I would normally, and when I'm ready, if I need to, I can simply just bring it back. And it's still going to be tiled, but as soon as I move over certain areas, it'll dock right back into the interface and get right back to where I was normally. So these are the enhancements to the general enhancements of the program, the graphic presets, the multi-monitor support, and it's just a dynamic update to this release. Thank you. So for drawings, Autodesk has only delivered one enhancement, the ability to have presets in the feature control frame. Many of the users that I've talked to about this new feature are very happy about this new capability. Presets are not new. They were introduced in 2019 with the hold command, you could predefine a type of hole that you would use on a regular basis, a blank tapped hole, a counter bore, things like that. And so with the feature control frame, we can now have presets to define predetermined common control frames that we would use on a regular basis. So let's watch this brief demonstration highlighting the drawing updates. This video will show how to use the presets within the feature control frame. Now, presets are not new. They were introduced in the hold command in 2019. You had the ability to save a pre-configured hole configuration. Let's say that you wanted a blind tapped hole or a through contour hole, certain size or certain depth of the counter bore. We now have the presets within the feature control frame. Take a look at this a little bit closer. You can see that I have a concentric control frame here, and I'd like to place another one. In the past, one of the problems with the product, every time you place a control frame, you have to enter the information every time you place it. And so highly user requested feature was to have the presets within the control frame. So we now place the control frame here. Now I've already configured one, so I drop my presets down and I can choose my concentric. And this is a setting that I would use on a regular basis. Now to create a preset, it's simple as placing one. I put in the settings that I'm looking for. Let's say perpendicular. Let's make that a little different. And there. And then all we simply do, we created a preset. And then we can give the name. So I'm going to do perpendicular. And to the data. So the next time I go and use a feature control frame, my presets will be there, and I have the ability to reuse them. Now the presets, by default, are user-specific, but they can be configured to be shared, put them on a network drive, so every user that's using Inventor can have use of these presets. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the what's new in the drawings using the presets with feature control frame. So for feature productivity, Autodesk has increased the number of property panels. So more commands are being updated, and as they are added, information about the property panels and some of their controls is updated. So Autodesk first introduced the property panel in Inventor 2019 with the hold command. For this release, there are new panels for extrude, revolve, sweep. In addition to the property panel for sweep, Autodesk has improved our workflow by adding the ability to use a solid in the sweep operation. The new unwrap command, it can flatten faces that cannot be calculated with the unfold or sheet metal flat pattern commands. For example, to determine a fabric pattern or a flattening of a stamped object. Unwrap does not use bend calculations to flatten the selected faces. It will display a heat map, and it will show you the areas of highest to least tension. You can specify contiguous segments to remain linear or rigid. The unwrap option creates a dedicated view representation, makes it easier to isolate and to document the output surface. So let's watch this presentation that highlights the part enhancements. This video will go over the new enhancements in the part environment with Inventor 2020. So the first thing I'll look at is in the part files in the new property panel. We'll start off with just a simple extrude command. We'll just actually select the face. I'm going to create several profiles. This is extremely common in one way of geometry, and you're looking at a particular workflow would be, it's easier to relate all of the sketch profiles together, and they might have different properties. One profile might remove material, another one might add material, they might be different height. So instead of creating a separate sketch for each feature, you could have one sketch, relate the geometry together more dynamically, and then work with it in one command by sharing the sketch. So I've got one sketch, three profiles. When I use the extrude command, see the new property panel. Now, while in the property panel, you can rename the features in the sketches as you work. So the first thing I'm going to start off by doing is selecting first profile. And when I do this, I see all the same information I would in the past with the previous extrude command. I can change the direction, change its height, and change various aspects of this. So in the past workflow, once you created your first extrusion, you would then have to go back to the browser, share the sketch, and then create the others. So from the property panel, I have my first profile selected, and I'm simply going to apply it, and that will automatically create the feature and automatically share the sketch to allow me to continue to work. So this one I'll take and I'll cut through the material and apply. And this last one, I'll simply just make it a little bit different height. So the workflow is greatly enhanced. We have the property panel, which does great input as far as understanding the aspects of the command, the ability to automatically create a shared sketch for geometry and profile reuse. So that's actually looking at the new property panel within the extrude command. We'll switch over to another enhanced command, is the sweep command. It also uses the property panel, but in addition to that, we have a completely new way of working with the sweep command is by using a solid versus just a profile that's swept along a path. So when we use the sweep command, this is a simple part file with two solid bodies. So the geometry that I'm going to use instead of a profile is a solid. So this is going to be the object that's going to be performing the operation, either removing or adding material. My path that I'm going to sweep this solid along, and the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to twist it. This is not a new feature. Twist has been around in the sweep for a while, but I just want to show you some of the advantages of just the enhancement within the solid sweep. And I'm going to sweep it along the z-axis. And I'm going to sweep this solid body along a path, and I'm going to twist it 180 degrees around the z-axis. Now, I could have multiple solid bodies. I'm going to remove the material from this solid body. One mistake I made is I forgot to specify cut versus join. Most people would undo or start over. It's a lot easier simply just to edit the command, or I can simply just select the feature and I can edit the sweep directly from the heads-up menu. Calculating the information, I'm just going to switch it over to cut and complete my operation. I'll add some fillets. And I'm able to create a little more complex geometry using the solid sweep. So the property panel has been added to the sweep command, but the ability to sweep a solid is just a huge productivity enhancement for this release. The last thing in the part environment we'll look at is the unwrap feature. I'm going to take this solid body, that's the sheet metal component, and I'm going to look at it. Now, this was created with a walk command, so creating a flat pattern from this is virtually impossible with Inventor 2019 earlier. So what I'm going to do is use the new unwrap command, and I'm going to select my faces. Again, this is a one-to-one unwrap. No bend deductions, no K factors are being used here. It's a one-to-one unwrap. At least gets you closer to where you need to be if it's going to be fabric or a really complicated form part versus just bent using the press brake. When I'm looking at this, once I select it and hit OK and accept it, Inventor will create another design view within the part file that's called Unwrap. And when I double click on this, activate it, I'm going to see, I'm looking at one of the planar faces of this unwrapped feature, and this gives me the ability to create a drawing simply by, as a normal process, I'm going to create a drawing view of the part file, but within that design view. I can select it, scale it, locate it, and now I can dimension it as I would normally. So these are the enhancements to the part environment within Inventor 2020. Thank you. So we'll now focus on enhancements made to the assembly environment, and Autodesk has placed an emphasis on updating the frame generator. End caps, finally. This has been a much requested feature, and Autodesk has delivered. Autodesk introduced the file name and defaults for the frame generator components with the update 2019.2, and with 2020, it has included the end caps with the ability to automatically file name and file name defaults. The notch command is now a property panel, and the new panel, you do not need to select an option to notch multiple members at the same time. Previously, it was difficult to create a custom notch. In this release, you can now specify the following: basic profile to set a single offset value, a custom iTemplate to set multiple offset values, and a custom profile, if available, use a custom notch profile saved in the Content Center family. In-canvas orientation tools, so you can now interact with in-canvas manipulators when you insert or change a frame member. In-canvas is a new term from Autodesk, which simply means you get to manipulate the member directly and see the results instantaneously. In previous versions, you would click an orientation option and hope you had the right selection. In addition to the new property panel, the lengthen and shorten command now allows you to specify asymmetric offset values. A trim selected part checkbox is added that lets you select the side you want to keep. You can now remove end treatments from multiple members at the same time. When placed in a mate constraint between two axes, Inventor now predicts the best match based on selection with minimal rotation. Inventor assigns the optimal selection before displaying the preview. Skeletal model and workflows are available now in Express mode. There are other commands available, which include drive constraints. You can now create and edit 2D sketches, work feature selection and visibility controls, visibility for shared and unconsumed sketches, and a selection priority. You can now select sketch features, and all of this can be done in Express mode. The file name and default dialog box now includes a tube and pipe tab where you can specify how tube and pipe runs the files and folders get created and named. The shaft component or the shaft component generator dialog box now includes a toggle that allows you to specify how files and folders for shaft components are created. In previous releases, a shaft created with the shaft generator had to create a subassembly for each shaft created. So now we can bypass the need for a subassembly and create the shaft directly in the top level assembly. Another long-awaited and heavily user-requested feature that has been implemented is the ability to constrain a component by using the center of a slot. Many of the new enhancements come from the Inventor Idea Station, so anyone can post requested features to the Idea Station, and if it gets enough votes, enough traction, you will most likely see that feature in an update or maybe even a new release of Inventor. The mirror component command now recognizes a sheet metal part and lets you link the sheet metal style of the source component to the mirrored copy. So let's watch a demonstration highlighting the enhancements of assemblies in Inventor 2020. This presentation will focus on the new enhancements in Inventor 2020 in regards to assemblies. This presentation will focus on joints and the frame generated assemblies. We'll start off with the joints, and the newest thing that are in the joint constraints are the ability to constrain the center of the slot. Joints are not new to Inventor, they've been around for a while. However, most users are not that familiar with them. So I'm going to go over the workflow and how we use the joint in order to pick up the center of a slot and constrain it inside of the assembly. So we do that. We can rotate the view to get the bottom of this particular component. We use the joint command, and as we hover over the face will highlight, and then I'll see control points or joints as I slide my cursor over the face. However, when I go to the center of the slot, the face deselects and the joints are gone. Once you have the face highlighted, you just hover, you don't select it, hold the control key down, and that keeps the face static. And it then allows me to pick the joint that I need. In this particular case, it would be the center of this slot on the side. Another thing that you can also do to increase productivity, rotating, zooming, and sometimes that can really slow you down and interfere with your workflow. I'll go back to the joint command. This is not new. We simply just hover over the face. We use the right click and we use select other. That'll highlight any other adjacent faces that are valid selections. At this point, I hold the control key down, and then I can pick the center of the spot here. So I'm doing all of that without rotating the view, without changing the orientation that I have. I'll pick the center of the post. You'll see a little brief animation that's showing me that that particular joint will be rigid. That's a type of joint. There's several that we can choose from. By default, this one's going to be rigid. And that's going to remove all the degrees of freedom, and this component will be fully constrained. In this particular case, because it's a slot, I would actually like the part to slide. So I'm going to change the type of the joint to be slided, or they call slider. Inventors make some assumptions based on the geometry. In this particular case, it's wrong. What I'd like to do is change the orientation, and I do that by using the align method. So my first alignment face will be over here, take the front face of this part, and I like to align it. As I hover around geometry in the assembly, I'll see different alignments or orientations. This is what I'm looking for, is the front of the part, so now both components are aligned correctly. So at this point, most of the degrees of freedom have been removed, but not all. The component can still slide. Now, the only thing I've done is constrain the center of the slot. The joint makes no assumptions as far as the geometry and its constraints. You could do that with context set, but in this particular case, I want to find it a little bit better. And we do that by editing the joint. We specify a limit, and we specify a start and an end limit on this joint. Now, if you know the length of the slot, you can just plug in half its value. If you don't, we simply just measure. And because it's a slot, it's symmetrical, I'm going to take the value, I'm going to copy it to the start. But because it needs to go front to back, one of the values does have to be negative. And as I click and restart, I can see a graphic as far as the value or the location of that offset in the end. It doesn't matter if they're front to back, back to front. As long as we have the proper offsets, we're fine. Hit OK. At this point, it's limited to what's defined in the joint. And at any time, if you want to locate it in a certain orientation, we can then lock the joint, which prevents the piece from moving. Okay, so let's switch over to an assembly. This is a partial frame generated assembly. And for any of the viewers that are not familiar with the frame generator, it allows you to work inside of an assembly. I can place structural elements, structural members, and I can create an assembly without using any constraints. The members can be any length. Everything is dependent on either other geometry in my assembly or a sketch from another part, and that aptly defines the members in the location. So in this particular case, I have a U-shaped channel and rectangular tubing. Another member on this line right here, I'm simply going to use the design ribbon, and this has all the frame generated tools, and I want to insert a member on this line right here. And when I do that will remember the last member that I used In this particular case, it was the structural tubing, which is fine. This looks good. And then I have my control vertices, and this is what is called the Enhancement editing tool. In the past, we'd have to pick an orientation and hope it was accurate. And now, all we simply do is click on these little directional arrows, vectors, and we can change its orientation. What Autodesk is calling Enhancement. So you get the orientation about where you want it, and then you'll see the offsets will update dynamically. So I'm going to locate it to the center of the member. I'm going to have all my offsets set to 0, and I've got my orientation set to 90 degrees, which is perfect. This is the orientation that I like. However, I changed my mind. Instead of being the structural tubing, I like this member to be the exact same U channel that's on the left-hand side. So in the past, what we would have to do is you have to look in, figure out what size channel of U-shaped member that was, and then insert it and then change the style of standard to match. Now what we can actually do is we can select the frame member, we can copy this information, and update the member that we're actually placing. It's a huge productivity boost. Now what I can do, I can copy everything. I can copy the frame member and the orientation. But I've already defined the orientation for this member. So what I'm going to do is strictly just copy the frame member information. I select this little eyedropper. I select the member that I want to copy. And that information is passed down to this member, and it's exactly the same. So this is a new channel that's exactly the same size as the channel that's already in the assembly. Take a look at it. It looks good. So this is 2 U-shaped channels. So some of the other updates on the frame generated assemblies is the ability to notch. So when we notch, I can select this member here and the tool. What member it will be notched to, I'll specify that. And if I had made any mistakes, I can simply hit the little X, it'll cancel selection, and then start over. In the past, when we did the notch, it was a side-to-side fit, which is the perfect fit, which is in manufacturing not extremely realistic. You need to have some clearance, some offset, maybe some room for some welding. So we now have the ability to extend the notch profile, so we can specify a value for the offset. That gives us a nice clearance. And we can edit that value at any time just by going into the notch. We edit, we can change the offset, and it'll update dynamically. The other enhancement to the frame generator, another long requested wish list item, is the ability to place end caps. So I hit insert an end cap. It can be used on any of the structural members, but the ability or the type of end caps is dependent on the member that you select. When I select the end cap, is remembering what I used last, which was an internal end cap. That doesn't work on a U-shaped channel. I have to switch that to an upward position, and then I can actually pick the base. So when I do that, it gives me a preview of the end cap that will be placed on this channel. I can specify chamfer, the chamfer distance, the thickness of the plate, and an offset if I needed to. But again, I want clearance for some welding. So I can do chamfer corners, I can do utility corners. In this particular case, I'll keep it as the chamfer. 1/8 of an inch is fine, and I'll place that end cap right there. We do have the ability to reuse members. That is not new, but we can also now reuse end caps. The way we reuse an end cap is we edit with the frame generator. So the workflow is a little bit different, but we can still reuse them. I'll pick the bottom face, and I'll see that the end caps have been reused. Any change to one will change them all. If any time you want to change and make them independent, we right-click, and we simply just break the reuse. And now it's going to be independent end caps to make any kind of change as necessary. Now with tubing, the end cap's a little bit different. do an outside one. I'll change this to fillet. And for the radius, I'll match it. Simply use the measure tool. So the fill will match it perfectly. The only thing that we can do, this is great. We have a nice end cap. Sometimes the end cap needs to be internal, not external to the tubing. So we simply edit. We switch over to internal, and I'll switch this to chamfer, and maybe increase the chamfer size to maybe 0.25. And if I need to, push it in a little bit, so a little bit of an offset. I just created a new end cap. So these are the updates to the frame generator and the joint. Thank you very much. So we can never just talk about Inventor and not bring up Vault. Vault is the best way to manage the files that you create with Inventor. So let's take a brief look at what's new in Vault Basic 2020. This presentation will focus on some of the new functionality in Vault Basic. We can never talk about Inventor or CAD in general and not talk about file management. It's imperative, and the tool that we use to manage all of our files is Vault. And with Vault, we have the ability to understand relationships, and I can have access to anything that a colleague might have worked on. So my task for today is to detail all of the components for this assembly. I'm going to start off with this shell. I'm going to open up in its own window, and what I'd like to find out is, let me open a drawing if it exists, and if it was started by another colleague and it was checked into Vault, I have access to it. So I'm going to open a drawing from Vault. If it exists, it doesn't matter where in the Vault, the file name, the relationship, association, it'll open inside of Inventor for me. And as I go to make some changes, I'll just add some simple annotations. Actually, I'll do a chamfer note over here. And as soon as I make a modification, I'm going to get notified. Do I want to check this file out? Do I want to commit the changes I'm making? Absolutely. Answer yes to that. And this looks good. Finished. And I'll check it back in when I'm done. So now to continue on with what I'm working with, I have the assembly, both the files when I no longer need them. What I don't really know dynamically is what files I've already detailed or what files someone else detailed. So by having the Vault and having this integration, I have the ability to look at the assembly inside of the Vault system, and I can see what it uses. I can see everything that makes up the assembly. I can see all of the components. And this new feature called As Drawing will identify what components of this assembly have a detailed drawing associated with them. And so now I have a dynamic view so I can see what needs to be done. There are some components that don't need detailing, like hardware, nuts, bolts, and washers, but some of the main components do. And if I look at this particular component, I can see its history, and this is a component that would need to be detailed. So I'll then open it, I'll create the drawing, check it in, and everything will be up to date. So anyone looking at this assembly inside of the Vault will know dynamically what detailed drawing exists. And new features for Vault Basic 2020. Thank you. I want to thank everyone very much for their time participating in the webinar this morning. I'll now open it to questions, and thank you very much.